Welcome to my Led Zeppelin album hunt. Our local record fair is usually held twice a year, this being the last one for 2024. Both customers and record stores are familiar faces by now. Now I had to walk some 3 blocks because I kid you not, my Uber driver was falling asleep behind the wheel. I had to wake him up at a traffic light stop and tell him, "You can't work like this, man." I got out of the car and he was angry at me at the 1-star rating, but that's how customer service works in my country. The service provider is always right. When you complain, they don't like it. Anyway, I checked out the first seller and saw many great titles. This guy usually brings them from Canada and makes sure the albums are in good shape. There was of course a hideous copy of Meatloaf Bat Out of Hell. And then I found my beloved Zeppelin album. Great condition, and I didn't know what the sleeve variant was. I didn't care. I bought it. Next table found a good American pressing of Zeppelin 2, but of course it wasn't a Robert Ludwig version. Coda is always nice to find. I always think this Cream album is Yes's Tormato for some reason. This Robert Plant and Alison Krauss album rocks. But every seller here seems to have a copy because there was a fishy outlet store outside of town that used to sell these quite cheap. I got one but later sold it. I have the CD version now. Great album. One of Robert Plant's finest moments. Some rare Jimi Hendrix albums, including this one from his R&B days with Spanish titles. Check side B last one. Not the best translation, let me tell you. This is not something you want to tell to a woman that speaks Spanish. Don't ever do this. Don't. Just don't. Another Jimi Hendrix vinyl, this time live at Isle of Wight, and then in Through the Outdoor, we meet again. This time sleeve variant E, but why on earth did someone use a marker on the hat? They ruined the album cover. I really wanted to get this, as this sleeve is hard to find, but no. Even though the salesman cut me a deal over the album cover, not worth my money. Sorry. Okay, next to a controversial salesman. I won't say his name, but let me just say he's not very appreciated by his colleagues over business ethics and pricing strategies. This humble pie at the Fillmore copy looked interesting. I really like this album by Carlos Santana, a great record with a crappy album cover. Liquid Trio Experiment? I don't really like the Dream Theater vibes here, despite Tony Levin. Rolling Stones Live 1970? You'll always find this one. Now this caught my attention, Steve Winwood and Friends. Dos by Malo is a terrific album. The opening track is progressive Latin rock, led by Jorge Santana, that's Carlos's brother. So I've been on a Deodato kick lately, and I found the one album I really like by him. 1980s Night Cruiser, but it was sold by that guy I mentioned, so I had mixed feelings. Had this been a CD version, I would have probably grabbed it, no questions asked. If you don't know this album, please check it out. While it's short, it encapsulates this time period to perfection. I pictured Tony Montana listening to this at the club. Emir Deodato, a genius musician. Next, a nice pressing of Made in Japan, ruined by a guy named Miner. Despite the various drawings and notes on the artwork, the price was similar to a VG Plus album. I feel bad for this copy because the vinyl was in great condition. So thank you, Miner, for ruining this for everyone. Next table. I'm always surprised to know Iron Butterfly has other albums besides Inagata da Vida. There's that crappy Meatloaf album again. I Hate You album. Oh, another Meatloaf. 2 Supertramp Breakfast in America, another record you'll always find at these places. Some Yes and Alan Parsons, and then Bob Dylan's debut, who I always think it's early day John Lennon for some reason. Check out Bob Dylan's version of In My Time of Dying here, it's a must for Zeppelin fans. Some Bee Gees including this early day compilation before they went disco. Now Main Course is my favorite record by them. I think Nights on Broadway is the moment they found the Saturday Night Fever sound, in my opinion. Spirits Have Flown is a good album. Peter Frampton Comes Alive is always on sale. Browsing through records, an obsessive compulsive pastime activity. You let the album covers speak to you. Nice Beach Boys live album. Hotel California, no thank you.
I had a rough night and I hate the f***ing Eagles, man.
Man, that Yazoo album is a guilty pleasure. Mirage is one of my favorite Fleetwood Mac records. It's both refreshing and depressing. There's Boney M's Love for Sale, horrible artwork. Here's Lips Incorporated follow-up and Flop. They had a small comeback with their third album, Designer Music. What is Tiffany's debut album doing here? Then I was treated to a fantastic selection of rare Jimi Hendrix records. All of these worth checking out. Man, am I glad I'm a Zeppelin fan, or else I would have bought them all. This is a 1994 box set, priced at around 150 bucks. Price at the record fair, something like 80 bucks. A Latin American pressing of Santana's Lotus, with a different title. Quite a nice version for Santana fans out there. Next we have a good chunk of Beatles records. I've seen a lot of Beatles albums on sale lately, yet I don't see younger customers getting these. Some Miles Davis, B.B. King. Nice, a Fela Kuti album with Zeppelin hater Ginger Baker. Let's see what else we have here. Dynasty is my favorite Kiss album. I like the songwriting element here. Music from The Elder is not that bad. It just has a horrendous album cover. Now, I wasn't expecting this, but boom. 2 copies of In Through the Outdoors sleeve variant F. Venezuelan pressing. Had to hold my breath there. Quite a nice selection of Zeppelin titles, most of these Venezuelan pressings as well, including The Song Remains the Same. I was hoping for an Argentinian pressing with the name of La Canción es la misma, but such is life. Pink Floyd's Richard Wright solo album. Now that was a rare find. I wanted to get these In Through the Outdoors, but they had handwritten marks on the cover, tape, no inside sleeves, so it was a hard pass for me. I'm sorry, album. I would do anything for love. But I won't do that. Next table, past some Bon Jovi records that should be destroyed. Found Houses of the Holy, a Latin American pressing of The Wall, Presents. I could feel In Through the Outdoor was next. But first, A Crime Against Humanity. Why would someone highlight Zeppelin 3's album cover like this? Check out the Zeppelin 1 with some Spanish text describing the songs and style. Quite creative, but I wouldn't buy this. More pink highlight Zeppelin 3 covers, and then 2 more. Once again, Venezuelan pressings, sleeve F, and I really wanted to get these, but condition-wise, they were not worth the money. Look at this, I mean, how can you sell this at VG Plus pricing? I kept browsing, but I was sad, disappointed, crushed at these In Through the Outdoors with no inner sleeve. Sometimes you want to buy more than 1 copy, but your obsession is put to the test. I said no to 5 copies of the album at the record fair. Times are changing. Some sellers need to reevaluate their prices and quality control. Now this is probably my favorite ABBA record, 1981's The Visitors. It was their last studio album, and like In Through the Outdoor, recorded at Polar Studio, Stockholm. I like the artwork. The colors match the sounds on it. I should have gotten myself a copy of that Yazoo album. Okay, last table. I had no expectations and was amazed at what I found. My favorite album by The Firm, Mean Business. The artwork reminds me of In Through the Outdoor for some reason. The overall condition for this record was great and worth the money. I got it right away and wasn't interested in anything else from this box. So this is what the record fair looked like, and it was crazy hot because of the roof, thus temperatures rising by the minute. But nothing a hot cup of coffee can fix, as you dehydrate and feel the warmth of dopamine activities, like record hunting. Now before you go, let me show you what I got besides both vinyl records. So I'm going to show you what I got. This is Deep Purple, Who Do We Think We Are? I made a documentary about this and I love this album and I want to listen to it in this format. I have the CD already and I need the vinyl, but for now, the cassette tape, a rare find because this is not a very popular Deep Purple album. So I'm happy to give some love to this underrated album, criminally underrated album. Alright, next. You're gonna be surprised, I think, but it was really cheap, really cheap. I got Meatloaf Bat Out of Hell because Bat Out of Hell is getting a review at some point, and I'm gonna have fun destroying this cassette tape. I'm gonna find a very creative way to do it. It's in great condition, and it won't be after I do my review. I always find this in vinyl or CD formats, so to find a cassette copy was interesting.